Okay, checking back about 45 minutes later from the first video, this is how things turned out and where we're at currently in the middle of the morning here, 10:40 Central Time. Looking at the three time frames, the 15-minute on the right and the 4-minute in the middle and the 8-minute over on the left. Let's blow up the 15-minute. Look at the big overall picture here, and we're still, ever since that sell opportunity up here on the doji here that formed on the delta reversal, we talked about this support here. This is the yellow line in orange and forward time segments, is the point of control which has developed during today's trading. They only got a few ticks under that and actually went down to the developing value area for the day, and it held very strongly. So that was making it very clear to us that we had limited follow-through on that down move, but it was enough to give us a few points. And let's look over at the 8-minute now, and the 8-minute had a very good, very clear cut. This is the signal that we had here for the short, and it was at the high value of today's developing trading, and the delta reversal on the high 8-minute bar was also very clear. So even if you, we pointed it out and recognized it on the 4-minute, but even if you only went down to 8-minute, selling on the 8-minute close was very profitable. It was pretty obvious to take profits in this area. I talked about it as it was developing on the first video, but we didn't have the follow through. It sold off on diminishing volume, and the delta was evening up all the way down, which is very clearly visible on this 8-minute chart. On the 4-minute, it was even easier to recognize it with pretty good precision as far as the lack of follow through. But it was an easy 2 points, and on the second half of the position, it didn't get much more, but it still was pretty clear cut that there wasn't much point remaining in the trade after it went down to the developing value low on the day, and you had this little inside bar doji with the delta evening up after it had been basically evening all the way through on the 4-minute bar. As it got right to our initial target there, it was pretty clear that there was no need for greed there. That taking 0.75 was the most appropriate action. It only went about 2 points from the entry, and there was another attempt in which did just get down to the value area low for the day. But that's how easy it is to read. It isn't really likely that anyone would have trouble recognizing that the sellers are not they're not overwhelming anybody here, and neither are the buyers. But the point is that means support and resistance are likely to hold. It's really a very obvious situation most times, even if that obvious reality is simply that buyers and sellers are even, no one is taking over here. That's enough to tell you that look for support to hold if it's going down, look for resistance to hold if it's going up. Now there was enough volume though to make the sell even more obvious and very clear to recognize on the 4-minute time frame, so that you could get in here at 1850, which was only 4 ticks under the high that was formed. So that's why we look at these 4-minute charts. We have the same value area high and low and point of control developing on the day. We have the same levels that are given off of the 8-minute and the 15-minute over here on the right. So we know those, and then we can go down to the shorter time frame on the 4-minute here, like I'm using in this case, and you'll get this kind of a signal. It can be that obvious that you had the spike volume, you went right to resistance, the value area high for the day, you got a hangman with a delta reversal, and there was no reason not to take a shot and see if it can get past the first support. It didn't do much when it got to the first support, so you take profits. If you want to trail on the second half, you've got a really strong support here because it's been developing for a longer period of time, and you're holding in value, and the volume picked up right here on the low bar, so that's where there was supply demand to meet the limited supply of sellers activity, and you had the inside bar here that evened up, and it was a nice little spinning top or whatever, and there was no volume at all to push the market lower. So you held there for a good period of time to even take a shot on the long side if you wanted. The 4-minute time frame, of course, this is only looking at very limited profit objectives. If you're only looking at the 4-minute, you're looking for 2 to 4 ticks maybe. In this case, maybe if you got in at 16.25, it went up to 18, so maybe you could get 3 or 4. I didn't buy that, but the market at this point, if you look at all the time frames, you can see that it's just about as indecisive as you could ask for on the hitting the bid and lifting the offer. It's each bar is finishing up just about even delta now, and you're right at value for the day. It's the point of control is exactly where it's trading as we speak. So 16.25 is the point of control for the day, and it's trading between 16.25 and 16.50. So those aren't the places you look for trades unless they are points of retests on a market that's clearly going up. At this point in this market, we can't really say that it's even an upward bias. It gapped way down and it held, but it is just now holding in its own value, the value that's built during the day. So point of controls in the middle of value that's been developing for an hour and a half are not places you look to take trades. We look for the extensions that are giving us indication that that's the end of the extension because buyers and sellers are evening up or reversing. But if you have a trade like this, where even though it was a limited extension of the buying off the low, only a 5 or 6 point bounce off a decisive gap down and low downward move, that was a good place to sell because everything lined up at the resistance that had formed. You didn't have a big profit objective because even the entire range at that point you only had about 5 points, but it was an easy trade to get 2 points, and that's what you take if that's what the market has to give you. So that's our intraday setups here, and pretty clear cut, even though at this point it's only clear cut that there's nothing clearer because they're trading right at point of control. So for now, not a good opportunity, but it might develop quickly if you can see some interest building one way or the other, or if it breaks out and you see evidence of follow-through or evidence of a reversal of the buying and selling interest at a limited extreme. So that's what we'll look at going forward.